today I'm very happy to show you Kingdom Inferno. I'm really happy to have a chance to see this figure in hand. So this is actually not my figure, this is figure that I borrowed from Michał. So thank you very much, Michał. He was very lucky that the local store somehow had him in stock. He had it pre-ordered, but it just arrived, so I haven't seen any review yet, so I want to share this with you now. And so here it is. He was in the box with instructions and all, but unfortunately right now I only have the figure, so I will be showing you the figure. So and also because I think this is one of the first reviews, I would like to share some of my other work with you. So if you do not know, I design figures. So for example, I will be talking about them more later, but if you're interested to see more of those, it's a Power Master Optimus Prime and Scorponok figure. They are based on Marvel Comics, so I can show you more about them later. So before doing that, let's get back to Inferno. So let's see him up close. Let's see if he is in focus. Come on. Okay, so here is him up close. You can see, if you can focus, this is his face, so it's not bad. I think I'm very happy that they used this this version of the face that's based more on the G1 toy. Some episodes of the cartoon, so I am very happy about that. I would wish for it to be maybe a bit slimmer and the silver to be a bit brighter, but it's not a big of a issue. And maybe I will show you how he looks next to G1 Inferno. So here is G1 Inferno. So as you can see, they look very nice together. There are some inspirations. I am very happy that they used the head from this version, also this gun here, and overall I like the way they did this. I was hoping that maybe they would copy this part, this black part, those knees, that they were actually from knees, but the way it is, it looks awesome, and I think it would look great with stickers, or maybe some more toy accurate version will come out. The biggest issue for me when I saw the pictures was that he has gray parts instead of white parts. So I'm not sure why they did it, but they did. So I was thinking of maybe repainting them, some of them, but unfortunately, as you can see, this part here and this part, they are, if I can focus, they're actually painted. They are not separate parts. Also, those wings are inserted with a pin, so it would be hard to remove them. Not impossible, but hard. So unfortunately, I think you would have to just stuck with the version you have. Maybe they will make a different color version in the future, probably. And yeah, so I haven't transformed him yet, so maybe I will transform him now, and then I will do some comparisons with Grapple and other figures. And some of you may wonder if they fixed the issue with the pegs in the legs. I think they did, because this part looks a lot different, as you can see. I will compare this to Grapple later on. Okay, so I do not have instructions, but I think I know what to do, because he is very similar to Grapple. So we will just rotate the hands. This whole section should unplug, and it does. Now I'll have to be careful, but this is because this is not my version, and I would not want to damage it, but I think it's not that easy to damage anyway. Okay, so let's see. So those two pegs right now, they seem much stronger because they are just connected to the whole base, not just by the sides. So we will see how that holds on, but I think that this is, yes, this was wrong. And I'm very happy that those wings are here all the time, that you do not have to disconnect them, so there's no parts forming involved. I think you could rotate the head, maybe I will do that. Like I said, I do not have the instructions, but you can do, oh, it even forms so nice detail over here. Okay, so this is actually quite stiff, so maybe I will not force it all the way in. Okay, so it is all the way in, it's just poking up a bit, that's the way it is molded. Okay, so now for those arms here, so they are very similar to grapple. Okay, and they should peg in here somehow, I think like this, yes, like this. And so this is the first time me handling this figure, because I want to show this video as soon as I can. So, okay, and they should peg down here somehow using those two ports. Okay, so like this. And this thing also can stay on, that's very nice. Actually cannot bend all the way down, but, and the ladder, you cannot see very well, so let me just rotate it. And the ladder can go down, and it's something is obstructing, but okay, so I don't seem to be able to move it all the way. Perhaps it just needs a bit of force. Yes, okay, so it just snaps in like this. And yeah, so this is Inferno's alternative mode, and you can extend the ladder by this much, I think. This thing is a bit... So can he roll? There's very little clearance, so I think theoretically he has like a millimeter of clearance, so he could probably roll, but I will not force him to, because I do not want to scrape any paint. Like I said, this is not my copy. I will do some more tests when my copy gets here. So yeah, and for the accessories, I think you can still store the gun here. Yes, and this part, usually at grapple, it's okay, so you have a port here, just like with grapple. Okay, and I think you can disconnect this and connect it here if you wish, so there is also this option. So very nice. Does the ladder extend further? It seems like it's molded inside that it could, but I think that's just the molding, so I don't think it can extend any further. So let's compare him to Grapple. So here he is next to Grapple from the Earthrise version. So as you can see, they are very similar. I think the front of this one is not painted, this one is painted, so this one is more shiny, but as for the shape, they are very similar, they have the same parts. I think this thing also can disconnect, yes, so if you wish, you could disconnect those parts. So very cool. I think this was done a bit better on Grapple. This is like this ladder I think could have been done better, but this is what we have. And for some other comparisons, here he is next to G1 Inferno. So there are similarities. Like I said, the biggest difference is that the white parts are now gray, so that's a big, not a big, but I would like them to be gray. I'm not sure why they are not white. I would like them to be white. I am not sure why they are gray like this, but I like the way that you can still hold this in place, just like the G1 version. On the G1 you cannot hide his let's call them wings, but here you can, so that's very cool. This thing I think could be painted easily because it disconnects. This one was silver all along, but those two parts, they may be hard to paint. And so for some other comparisons, here he is with Blue Streak. It's a bit dusty. and blue streak from Earthrise. So, well, if you were talking about real world scale, he should be bigger or he should be smaller, but it's not that bad. But while I have him, I also can bring in this classics version of Inferno. So as you can see, this size difference between those two is more like the one that you would expect. So here they are. So very interesting to see them together, and I see that this thing unplugged. Yes. So for some other comparisons, here is Reveal the Shield Jazz. So here's a bigger car. As you can see, those figures are getting smaller and smaller. So okay, so let me transform him back to robot mode. Maybe I will do it with you so you can see if there are any issues. So I will try to be very careful with this, especially this part when unplugging those two. Well, but no, it just works. Okay, so they do listen, and that's very good. So I also like the fact that this is pure plastic, because with grapple this is painted, and I think the way that the head attaches, you could scratch the paint very easily. Also the hook is very close to the front, and I'm afraid that it may scratch the paint, and in this case I do not have this fear because it's just normal plastic. Okay, so now this part, I will leave the gun here for now. Maybe I will rotate it back. So let's see if it can be transformed with the gun on. That would be also very cool. And okay, so let's just rotate it like this, this. And this is on a double hinge. We can rotate the head. So actually this detail was also on grapple. I just didn't notice it because the color was so light. Okay, and let's plug this in. Okay, so we can transform him with everything on. Let's see if those things move in. A bit tight, yeah. So that's very cool. And like you see here, it disconnects a few times, but I do not fear. And this one was a bit tight. I do not fear that it will scratch. Okay. So, for some robot size comparisons. So the official way to transform him and transform, let's move. This one disconnects a bit more easily, so I think it's lacking that layer of paint and there is no compensation, so maybe that's why. In terms of stiffness. Okay, so let me just adjust the camera. So this is an official way to transform him, the way the legs are, but for me personally, with grapple and him, I like them to be larger characters, taller characters. So what I do is I just unplug this and just move it slightly up so that he is taller. I think that makes them look better, and also they are just taller, and I think it reflects the G1 version more, that I will show you in a second. So as you can see in this G1 version, there is a gap where his legs are, and I think this reflects it a bit more, and it also makes him higher. As for the red color, I don't know how well it shows, but this one is more red than this one. This one is like a bit matte red, I think that's the correct name. Okay, for you probably want to see him with red alert. I do not like the Siege version, but I have this one, and this is a Classics Red Alert with Siege head, and I think thanks to this, the raising of the legs, that makes him higher. I think they still fit good, so this is what I will be going with, I think. And for some other size comparisons, it's moving to the side. So here is him with hoist. So very cool. Also with the height difference, I have a trade breaker, and I designed small parts that can be attached to his legs and allow for transformation. and I will make them available. Whoa! There are some balance issues, I will not lie, but this is also due to his knees being very weak. You can just leave this up a bit and it should be better, yes. So here is him with hoist and trailbreaker, and as you can see, trailbreaker is a bit taller than hoist, so this is how they look together. Very cool. And let's see him with some other figures. So I have modified Wheeljack with a new chest, and this is how he looks. He is taller, has a new chest and some add-on parts, but this is how they look together. You can also buy those files to 3D print them yourself. This is him with Hound, so very nice combination. I like how the colors blend. There's something about this color palette that blends well together. And I prefer some older figures, so here is him with Sideswipe and Sunstreaker from the classics line, and because of the leg extension, I think they kind of work. Maybe they should be he should be a bit taller, but it's still, I think, acceptable with this configuration. And for some other, here is him with Prowl, and this is a Prowl that has a modified head from the Siege version. So this is how he looks. And this is Jazz from the RTS. They both have some modified parts. You can see all of those parts on my Facebook page, Printformers, and on my Etsy, and they will be available there. Also, for some recent figures, here's him with Jazz and with Smokescreen, and this works really well. I really like how those two look together with the colors. There's just something about blue, red and white that I really like in this configuration. So I think this size difference looks very well. Smokescreen is a bit taller than Jazz, but those two blend really well. So if you want to see him with Optimus Prime, I have a classics version to show you. So I decided to use the classics version. I think he is about the same size as the Siege and the Earthrise version, so I think it's okay, it works well. I mean, those two are different styles, but in terms of size, it's acceptable. Okay, and with some Masterpiece size figures, so if I can get him in frame, here is him with Make Toys, my choice for Masterpiece Inferno. So I would really like a Masterpiece more resembling this one, the toy, not resembling the cartoon version, which I think is very ugly. So this is a lot closer to this toy version, which I like. I would prefer him to have actual knees, because the way the animation model was drawn, they made a mistake, and these are his actual knees, and they moved them up to be his thighs, and his thighs are actually his crotch. So he's missing the actual crotch in the animation model, and it translated to later designs, which I do not like. But this one, taking everything into account, executes it very well. So let's just put in Grapple once again to compare them. So here he is again with Grapple, and while transforming here now, I remember how much fragile the pegs are. I was very careful. With this one there is no fear. You can push them anyway, I don't think they will break. And as you can see, this is the difference in the leg configuration, and Inferno is noticeably taller. So if you want to differentiate them more, I think this is a good way. So if I bring Grapple up the similar way, just unplug them. So this is how they look. The similar size, I think he can be a bit more taller, but when you compress the legs, this is how they look. So very cool. I would wish him to have a neck articulation, but it's still, I think it's a very nice version of Inferno. Let's try to make him in some more dynamic pose. The way also when you unlock the feet, I think it also makes it possible to have a larger field of movement. I forgot how to call this, but yeah. So yeah, so very cool, very cool. He can really be posed well with those feet, much better than the recent Studio Series G1 figures. So and if you would like to take a moment to stay and listen a bit about my projects, I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to make 3D printing more common, and like I said, I'm designing some figures and accessories. And actually today I will be releasing this set. This is a set for this guy. This is a Power Master Optimus Prime, and I will be offering the 3D files for you, so you could print them at home. So I would appreciate if you also share this. I dropped the price significantly because I want more people to print those figures at home, so the most of the cost is on me, or the development cost, and I would like you to share your projects, your opinions with me. And here is him with, I think he also works a bit as a Marvel comic version, because he looks very similar to that version. So yeah, so very cool. Very happy to see Inferno. I will also be selling, as of now, one version of this Optimus, and he's transformable, and I will be releasing a full video about it soon, so you can see more about him. But as of now, here is Kingdom Inferno with Optimus. Let's end with Inferno, just so you can see him, and really cool. I can't wait to get my copy. I will be sending this one back, but I am really appreciate the opportunity to see him in hand. Thank you very much, Michał. And well, stay tuned for more of my videos. I'll be talking with some cool stuff soon. I also recently received this MS Toys Bumblebee, which I will be recording soon, so if you want to see how he compares to this version and some other Legends figures, stay tuned. So thank you again, and see you at my other videos, and take care.